Tracking from space shows that Texas is behind their commitment for building solar this year. Wind and solar have outpaced nuclear energy production for the first time. And North Carolina wants to tear out all of those free charging stations for electric vehicles. Well, I'm Jay Warmke with Blue Rock Station, and this is the news from the solar industry for the week of July 11th. Well, first in the news, over 400 solar companies, manufacturing and installation companies, have sent a letter to Congress asking Congress to support John Ossoff's bill, Solar Energy Manufacturing for America Act, which was passed by the House of Representatives back in November of 2021, but still has not been taken up by the U.S. Senate. What this bill would do would be to extend the investment tax credit for 10 years. It's set to phase out next year, 2023. It would also incorporate the tax credit for storage only. Currently, the system requires that you have renewable energy plus storage. And they also incorporate a number of manufacturers' incentives. There's a system out there that's a satellite tracking system that is tracking progress of energy systems. Found this kind of interesting. The company is called Kairos, and it monitors, it says energy flows, natural resource stocks, industry activity, and it provides this information to government, investors, commodity traders. And what they were reporting on is that Texas, the ERCOT electrical oversight group there in Texas, had indicated that in January 2022, they were going to be installing about 46 solar installations throughout the state. And that was going to be a total of 9.8 gigawatts of production capacity. Well, so far in the first half of the year, only about 9 of these systems have actually been completed according to satellite tracking. That represents about 14% of the original commitment, and only 37% of these projects are even under construction. So it calls in question whether ERCOT will actually be able to meet what they said they were going to do. In fact, right now it looks like they'll be lucky to get 50% the way there. Wind and solar outproduced nuclear for the first time in the first 1/3 of 2022. That would be January through April. In the first 4 months of this year, solar production grew 29% in the U.S. Wind grew about 26%. These two accounted for about 16 and 2/3 of all of the electricity used in the United States. When you add that in with other renewable sources such as hydro, geothermal, and all of that, it actually accounts for about 29% of all of the electricity used in the U.S. Now, this just renewables have outpaced coal. Coal is about 20%, and actually starting to catch up with natural gas. Natural gas accounts for about 35% of all of the electricity used in the United States. California is still struggling with their net metering. They call it NEM or 3.0. The way California set their legislation is when there is a 5% market penetration of solar, then they reevaluate their net metering. So the first NEM 1.0 was instituted in 1996. Then they hit 5% market penetration in 2017, and they initiated NEM 2.0. And now in 2022, we've hit the 10%. So that's NEM 3.0. And basically, the California Public Utilities Commission came out with recommendations that pretty much gutted the net metering rules within California. Now, these rules have been credited with the extraordinary growth of solar in the state. So what they're saying is rather than paying 1-to-1, so you get retail for what you pump back to the grid, they'll only pay 25%. And actually, they would implement a charge or a fee for having solar on your roof, which amounts to $8 per kilowatt. So if you had an 8 kilowatt system, which is pretty standard for a residential suburban home, you would be looking at $64 a month payment to the utility just for the luxury of buying your solar array. So, and this would be $66 per month. So there was a massive protest against this when they announced it. They're doing a review process. And there was about 100 cities and counties just came out against it in the comment period on this law that on this proposed regulation. That the comment period closed on July 1st. So still up in the air. We'll see how that turns out. And in the weird and useless legislation, North Carolina, there's a congressman down there named Ben Moss. Ben Moss decided he didn't like free EV charging stations. So he's proposed a bill saying that they're going to be ripped out, apparently thrown away, unless a gasoline pump was put next to them that distributed free gasoline. Now, they couldn't do this on private property. So what they said is if a commercial entity wants to put a free EV charger on their site to encourage people to stay there, then on the receipt for whatever it is you bought, like if it's a restaurant on your meal ticket, they have to allocate how much was the cost of your bill that is directly attributable to the cost of the electric vehicle charging station. So no type of government regulations in that free state. Anyway, that's the news from solar for this week. We'll see you next week.